Morning, all. Good morning. Oh, my God, that just slips off my tongue so easy. Breaking old habits. They say you can break a habit in 28 days, hence why recovery programs are 28 days long. It takes you 21 days to break a habit and 7 days to start a new one. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. Good. Grand Rising. Keep practicing, Scott. You'll figure it out. So, hey, you guys, and this on some level is for the folks who I missed. There was a Zoom chat, and it was awesome, you guys. It was awesome to Andy and Lorna and Mark, Andy, Jess, Jamie, Jamie's friend Haley, I think it was. Man, was that cool? That was so cool. I watched parts one and two yesterday, and straight up, like listening to your stories, all of you collectively, listening to your stories was just fantastic, man. And I was nodding my head, wow, and literally like wow, I was like talking to myself, wow, 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 it's no surprise to me at this point. That we're all being on some level drawn together, that we all find resonance, um, that we all find resonance with MJ and with each other. It's cool shit. It really is, man. It really is. And I was fascinated hearing your stories, your individual experiences, and uh, your I believe it was referred to on more than one occasion, the Kundalini awakenings, and I had one too, man. It was profound, man. It was trippy, you know, and it was trippy. Holy smokes, man. Um, I had reached a point, I was a slave. Let's just call a spade a spade. I was a slave, man, consumed by outward projections on me from family, government, the world as it is or was, and this is what you're supposed to be, you know. And oh, I don't know, probably about 5 years ago. Probably about 5 years ago. Um, that's not when my experience happened, but that's when I really started questioning, like holy crap, um, like there's something wrong here, there's really something wrong here. This is not the way it's supposed to be, about 5 years ago. And I would liken it, I've mentioned this before, I would liken it to like a midlife crisis. That's what I thought was going on. If I had gone to a psychiatrist, he probably would have prescribed me medication and said, yeah, dude, you're 50. you know, whatever, man, whatever. But I would describe the initial onset to it was like a midlife crisis. What's it all for? You know. Um, but as I researched and because I knew deep down inside this was well more than a midlife crisis. All the things that would satiate a midlife crisis. The fast car, the young girlfriend, uh, reinventing myself again. You know, um, who am I going to be? Um, None of that stuff. None of those things satisfied me. I was like, nope, and let's go inward. Every time I scratched that part of me, like going inward, it was always there was always a carrot dangled, like wow, yeah, go check this out, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. Um, little off topic, but one of the experiences that, you know, um, it was profound. And this would be this was pre Kundalini um, experience. I remember I was, and I always had a distasteful idea about how I felt like, I felt like a pawn. I felt like a piece in a chess match, and that there were these forces somehow that were playing us all as a humanity like a big chess match, and there was like that idea, um, and I remember I was driving. And that was always something that once I had my sports car, once I had my sports car, I used to like driving around. Hey, go to the beach. I'm very close to the ocean, very close. I'm about a mile as a bird flies. I live on the southern coast of Maine, and it's beautiful. When people think of Maine, they think of a rocky coast. Well, yeah, that's true, but that's farther north. The southern coast of Maine is very sandy and it's beautiful. White sand, very fine sand, very nice. But go for a drive, meditate, and listen to music, listen to my heart. And I remember driving through this particular neighborhood, and it wasn't a posh neighborhood. It wasn't a low income neighborhood. It was just, you know, what would you call it? Um, an average neighborhood, a family neighborhood, whatever. And I'm driving through, and in an instant, I had a flashback. There's no other, or a past life memory. Um, I was in a chariot driving through the slave quarter. I was like an Egyptian, and I don't mean like I was a pharaoh or something. I don't, I wasn't Cleopatra or Ramses. I was like I think, this feeling and sensation that I had was like you know, maybe I was a bit of a twat, and I was like what do you call it? A slave master, the dude with the whip. Get to work, crack. Bit of a twat. But it was like a flag. Oh my God, what the fuck? And that's how I perceived this neighborhood as I was driving. I'm driving through this neighborhood and I'm looking around and I'm like, you know, and kind of like the little cogs all kind of click together, like, and I saw the banks and the churches and the elite 1% as the slave owners, and we were all these slaves living in the slave quarter. Very interesting experience, but undeniable to me. Undeniable. It was like, oh, it was like, do I pull over? Because it was that distracting. Um, Interesting experience, and I've had many. I've had many since then. When I was a little kid, going to these like past life memories, like whoa, dude. When I was a kid, man, I was a messed up little dude, and I was the weird kid in my family. I was the youngest of six. Hi, Andy. I believe it was no. I'm sorry. Who was it? Who was it? Mary. Mary. You were the youngest of six. I was the youngest of six. Got into booze and drugs very young too. Woohoo! It was my best friend. But when I was a little dude, um, I went to see Star Wars, and I was like, and after Star, I was like, I was having like these past life things going on. Like, I think maybe I was in a some sort of a starfighter at one point in a past life. Uh, And shortly after that, I ended up. It was like a traumatic experience because I was such a little kid and I didn't know how to express. And when I did express, everybody thought there was something wrong with me. So I ended up in therapy and special schools and special needs and counseling. And there's something wrong with Scott. Well, whatever. And I was the weird kid in my family. The Catholic and dogmatic, you know, beliefs, and I was raised Catholic and Jehovah's Witness. It was very paradoxical because I don't know what anybody else's experiences are, but half the family was Catholic, the other half was Jehovah's Witness, and there was a lot of religious tension in my family, and I'm looking at both sides, and I'm going, "You're both screwed," you know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling, but it was just so exciting. Andy would say that, it's just so exciting. As she said, it's exciting. I was like, wow, and I very enthusiastic. It was awesome to see you guys. And yeah, I was always the weird kid, but I did what I was told. I got beat down pretty hard, and on a physical level, there was a lot of. It was a harsh place to live growing up in my house, very harsh, and so on a physical level, I was beat down. On an emotional and psychological level, I was beat down. No, yeah, that's ridiculous. You're crazy to have these thoughts, these feelings, these ideas. Um, you know, be realistic. Stop being so idealistic. Stop seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. The world is a scary place. I was having a great time, even though um, I was having a great time as a kid until it got beat out of me. That was the other thing too. And I've when I was a kid, we all, it's easily identifiable as, oh, he's got imaginary friends. I had two. They were golden orbs. And they were called Mac and Joe. I don't know who named them Mac and Joe. They weren't. It wasn't Mac and Joe to me. Um, um, but yeah, I had conversations, and I used to play with my quote unquote imaginary friends, these two golden orbs, and they were with me all the time, all the time, all the time. Um, Again, until all that what I believe was my true essence, until all of that essence was beaten out of me. Um, but yeah, I'm spending a lot of time back there. Let's move forward because about it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Um, there. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who it was in the share. I think it might have been Andy. Andy mentioned that she began to have something go on like in October. I think we were shifting at the same time because I believe it was November 15th is when I had my Kundalini awakening, and I was going pretty deep. I was going pretty deep into a lot of rabbit holes. So I kind of retracted from that because I was seeing that it was only causing fear in me, and I started. What do they call them? Binaural beats. I'm having a hard time with that one. But I used to listen to a lot of the healing sounds and music and things like that. And Jamie, that drumming is awesome. That the handpan drum is just fantastic. But I was on my knees quite a few times, man. I was on my knees. Um, what's it all for? Help, help. I need help understanding. Because this was so profound and so powerful that I couldn't wrap my logical mind about what was happening to my ethereal body. And there was one particular day where I'd gotten in the shower, getting ready for work, starting my day, whatever, I don't even remember. And I found it to be very, in the shower, I have an affinity for the water. And even in the shower, I'd prefer being in the ocean, but or down in the Caribbean. But I was in the shower, and I took a posture on the shower floor of meditation, as best as I could because it was very small. But I remember and I remember standing up, and as I was getting out of the shower, um, the only way I can describe it, um, it was a feminine energy. I would describe it as a feminine energy, not in a sexual sense, but a feminine energy. I felt an energy pass through my body from the top of my head down through the toes of my feet. And it filled my body with, it filled me, it filled my essence. It was warm and loving and kind and compassionate and nurturing and um, beautiful, majestic, sublime. I mean, I'm putting human words to it, but there are no words for an experience like that. Um, it was just you know it's my new baseline for beauty. What is beauty? It was that experience. What is completion? It was that experience. What is wholeness, fullness? What is divinely feminine? What is divinely masculine? It was that experience. It was just it was like um, and it lasted. I don't I don't know. It was like a time warp, but it was probably a solid, oh, I don't know, 20 seconds of like just like, and it was a feeling of bliss and ecstasy and yeah, like your true essence. Like how do you vibrate and how do you express? That's it right there. That's it. That's what we're going for, Scott. This is what you are. This is what you have to offer. This is what everyone else is. This is what everyone else is. And everyone's your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, um, your child. Everyone is connected. And I must say that just for the sake of the conversation, um, I was stone cold sober, and no booze, no drugs on board. I dabbled with hallucinogenics when I was in my teens. I loved mescaline, loved that shit. Um, but I only did that 3 times. I did mescaline 3 times, and on the third time, I'm like, I love this shit so much, I have to stop because if I don't stop, I'm gonna just keep going. It was great. It was great, but I'm sitting here. It's the next day. You guys were doing your Zoom chat yesterday, but I'm kind of still feeling the residual energy of that chair, and I may actually watch it again. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Um, it was wonderful. But that's a little bit about me. From a more day to day mainstream kind of thing. I work in a healthcare facility. It tends to be it's a rehab slash nursing home. My title is maintenance, but I have a big background in healthcare and social services. I was for 13 years. I was a non-licensed clinical social worker, and I worked in a residential treatment program as a house manager, working with abused and emotionally damaged kids. And um, I look back on that experience, and while there was a certain aspect of my character at the time that I did care. I was definitely doing that job more to heal my own self, or it was I was killing two birds with one stone, as it were. Um, you know, I was working in that environment, healing a lot of my own trauma or addressing a lot of my own trauma. Having these kids mirror me all the time. It was, but I did it for 13 years, and I finally got burned out doing that. Typically, it's an 18-month burnout rate in that field, and I did it for 13 years, so I had had enough. Um, but now I'm working in. I have a history with construction and excavation and heavy equipment, and um, but I moved on to this job, um, and there is definitely, it was nothing I ever picked up on before, but I am definitely now. Since that experience, I'm seeing and feeling and sensing and leaning into that feeling space rather than the logical, mindful space. Mindful, not mindful. Um, but leaning into that sensation, heart space when I'm at work, and it can be a very dense, dark, oppressive, um, harsh environment on a ethereal level, on a spiritual level, on a heart space level. And every day when I go to work, man, I just try to, I just try. I succeed, man. I bring love into that place as best as I can, and just love the shit out of everybody. Be a jackass, stomping puddles at work, talk to a resident, do, like my main job is maintenance, but based on my prior experience, they're very encouraging about, having eclectic people working there who can jump in and do other jobs besides the one they were hired for. So I get to do a lot of therapeutic recreation with Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's type dementia patients and people that are there, and have connections with those folks, and maybe bring a little light to their life, and I don't know, man, and the employees too, my coworkers, and it's a nice, you know, there's times where I don't want to go to work, just because I'd rather, stay at home and play the bongos naked in my living room. Um, but that's that. That's that. That's a little bit of me. That's a little slice of Scott. And I had an occasion yesterday to. I wasn't able to get on the Zoom chat because my phone. It said something about it not being compatible with Zoom, which I think is kind of like bullshit because I have other apps on my phone that are similar to Zoom. So why wouldn't it let me on Zoom? Anyway, I'm gonna have that figured out. I'm gonna have that figured out by, what is it, Mark? You're gonna do September 28th. I am gonna shoot for that. My son is stepson, former stepson, Zach. He's a bit of a tech geek, uh, and I'm sure he can help me figure out what the heck's up with my phone. Why won't it accept Zoom? But I fully intend to be there. And I had the occasion to have just a bit of a chat with Roots yesterday, and she's efforting that too. She wanted so badly to be part of the group, and it just didn't work out for one thing or another. And it's her intention also to be there at the next one. So much love, you guys. Much love. Brother, sister, father, mother, whoever. I'm like, hey, I know you guys. I know you guys. Let's play. Let's play. Much love. Peace that surpasses all understanding, and have a glorious day. Have a glorious day, and I'll see you at the end of September, okay? Peace.